Hey guys, it's Nick. And, well, we know the Blackhawks are drafting first overall in this year's draft, and that means we should be taking Connor Bedard. Well, the Hawks do own a second pick in the first round as well, and that being the pick number 19, which was the Tampa Bay Lightning's draft pick. So, let's see who the Hawks should be considering maybe drafting at around that position. Who knows? The Hawks could actually move up in the draft. They could move back in the draft. We or That's only up to them what they want to do. I personally think the Hawks could move up in the draft, maybe up to a pick a number 11 from the Vancouver Canucks, which is which has been highly talked about as a pick the Canucks would be considering moving back in the draft, which is interesting to see, knowing how deep this year's NHL draft is. But we'll see how that goes. The Hawks sitting at first overall and 19th overall in the 2023 NHL draft. They have a good uh pick numbers for it. I could even see them try and move back into the first round as well because they have 4 second round picks in this year's NHL draft. They could consider maybe let's package a couple of our seconds and get back into the first round if it's in the later round of the draft. That could be a potential. But the Hawks drafting first overall, it should be Connor Bedard. Around 19th overall, that's a toss up. We could see whatever happens. A lot of teams could be moving around trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do. That's how this draft is. It's a deep draft, and you could see a lot of players move around that could be in the same area where they're projected, but in like interesting spots. We'll see what happens there. So let's get into the video. There's no particular order to this, but here is how I went with the 5 prospects I could see the Hawks may draft. And the first player on the list I have is Kobe Barlow of the Owen Sound Attack. Well, in his last 2 years in the OHL of Owen Sound, in his first season with them, he had 47 points, and in his second season as captain of Owen Sound, he ended up putting up 79 points. Good season going into his draft year. He is a 6'1" left-hand shot left winger with Owen Sound currently, as I already said, the captain of the team. And I feel like Barlow could be one of those players that could be fluctuated where he sits in the draft rankings, and everywhere I've looked, he looks around to be around 15 to 20th in the draft. So, seeing him where the Hawks have the 19th overall pick right now, it's a possibility the Hawks may choose Barlow. Next up, Andrew Crystal. This is a good prospect I would be interested in seeing. In his first year with Kelowna, he had 69 points, and then going into his draft year, he put up 95 points in this year with the Kelowna Rockets, wearing the A for the team. Fun fact about Crystal, he did grow up playing with Connor Bedard as kids, so that's an interesting fact to watch out for. He is a 5'10" left-hand shot left winger for Kelowna. And there's one nick about Crystal's play, and it is his speed and skating ability. So it's an interesting one to watch out for. Where he's been ranking around is around the mid teens to late 20s I've been seeing. So Crystal I put on the list here, and the fact that he has probably some chemistry with Bedard could be a factor in the drafting. Next player I want to talk about is from Yukon, and that's Matthew Wood. He's a 6'3" right-hand shot, left wing, and center in for UConn. He played 35 games this season as a freshman, putting up 34 points, nearly a point per game in college. That's good to see. With the fact UConn not one of the bigger schools to go to for hockey, but he still put up solid numbers. Um, with the Victoria Grizzlies of the BCHL, he had 85 points last season. Then he went to UConn for his freshman year of college hockey, and putting up 34 points is solid. Being 6'3" could be a factor in drafting him because he's a taller forward, and the Hawks could use some height coming into their prospect core. Okay, next up I have Brayden Yeager. Uh, he's been ranked all the way from 10th or even higher to even 20th in the draft from what I've been seeing in draft rankings. And well, I have 3 years of stats for Yeager here because he did play a season with Moose Jaw in the 2020-2021 season, and well, he had 18 points in 24 games played. His last 2 years of stats, 63 games played for 59 points, and this year going into his draft year, 78 points for 67 games played. Solid numbers by Yeager here. He is 6 foot, right-hand shot, something the Hawks could use, a right-hand shot. But he's a center. Could he project in the NHL as a winger? Potentially, because some players do project into the wing if they are drafted as a center. So it's a possibility Yeager could play wing. With 78 points in 67 games played, I feel like Yeager's a solid option if he's still sitting there to kind of consider. All right, next up is Gabe Perot. This is to close out all 5 prospects I wanted to talk about. Gabe Perot, a 5'11" left-hand shot right winger, something the Hawks could use as a right winger. And well, he plays for the U.S. development program. That's why there's a ton of stats on him from the last 2 seasons. For the U.S. NTPD Juniors of 2021-22, he had 27 points. Where for the U17 team, he had 50 points. U18 team, he had 3 points. But his draft year, 2 stat lines he had, and it was 45 points for the USHL, and 23 games played, and the U18 US national team. He had 132 points in 63 games played. Those are solid numbers to watch out for. Fun fact about Perot, his dad Yannick Perot is actually part of the Rockford Ice Hogs coaching staff as a developmental coach. So maybe with family relations on the team could lead to the Hawks maybe wanting to take a chance and take up Gabe Perot. Maybe just with the height, it could be an interesting one to see where the Hawks go, because as I said, the Hawks do have a lot of smaller forward prospects. Maybe they want to go bigger. But Perot's a solid prospect here, so let's see where that goes. Alright, let's close out this video. The Hawks are in a good position. They're going to draft first overall, and that's going to be a 99.999999% chance the Hawks are going to draft Connor Bedard. Okay? And then they're at number 19. Let's be honest. We might not even be drafting pick number 19. They could be moving up. They could be moving back. We'll see what happens on draft day. But the prospects I wanted to talk about are prospects that are ranked in that range where the Hawks are sitting in. Early to mid teen, like late teens to early 20s. So I wanted to talk about those prospects. And I thought I was smart enough to go over those 5 few prospects that are solid ones to look into. And, well, if the Hawks do move up, we'll see what happens. If they move back, we'll see what happens. That's how it is. It's a draft. It's not concise. You're getting this player, and that's what you get. Since we're getting the first overall selection, they get the easy pick, and they are going to take Connor Bedard. But the way it looks, we don't know who the Hawks will draft, and I wanted to talk about a few prospects, highlight them, show their stats going into the draft year, and see what they're going to do. Those are prospects I kind of looked into that look like solid ones to talk about. And who knows? Maybe we'll see what happens with the draft. And down in the comments down below, I want to hear who you would like the Hawks to draft with our second pick in the draft, because I know what you're going to say with our first pick. It's going to be Connor Bedard. And as we're only 50 subscribers away from hitting 1,000, please help me out and get this channel to reach 1,000 subscribers. And thank you for watching the broadcast. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And most of all, let's go Hawks.